What's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY87 here, aka Grace, and I decided I'm going to go over some of my favorite dupes I've given you all throughout the years and tell you why I like the dupe better than the original, or vice versa. I might like the original better than the dupe, but it was still a good dupe for like budget wise, so I wanted to go ahead and show them to you. So let's get started, because it's me and I'm long-winded today forever. So we're gonna start off with foundation. So if you all remember, I showed you this alternative. I found it through another YouTuber. Her name is Jen Phelps, I want to say. And she said that this Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation was a good alternative to the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin. I got that right? Yes! Surreal Skin Foundation. And I definitely agree with her. It's just this one is a little bit more sheer and it's not easy to build up. It only build up to a certain point, whereas the Mario one, I feel like it builds up to an easy, like high medium, whereas I feel like this might build up to like a low medium at best. So it depends on which one you prefer as far as like coverage goes, which one you like better. I personally like the Mario one better. I prefer to mix the Mario one with other ones, but I still thought this was a good dupe to show in comparison, because some people may not want to spend the Sephora price of Makeup by Mario, and if you're okay with that more clean girl like skin aesthetic that you don't need as much product, then I feel like this would be great for you. So that's why I felt like this was a good dupe to talk about, but I actually prefer the original in this instance. So that's the first one. The second one I have, now to me this one is hard and it's like a tie situation for me. This is the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick versus the Colored Rain Skin Stick Multi-Use Foundation Stick. So I like each one of these for a different reason. I like the affordability of this one and the fact that this one gets more coverage than the Fenty one, but at the same time I like the way the Fenty one looks on the skin and how it blurs. So with these, it's actually a tie for me, but you can buy two of the Colored Rain ones for the price of one of the Fenty ones. So as far as price point goes, I definitely feel like the Colored Rain one is better, and since y'all know I like better coverage, I guess at the end of the day the Colored Rain one works better for me than the Fenty one does. But you know, it's just based upon preference. Now if it was against the Fenty liquid in this one, then the Fenty liquid would win for me, but the fact that you get less in here than you do in here, and this one's cheaper, and then the Fenty drops give you more and it gives you the same type of finish and the same look, and I feel like that one builds up a little bit better than this one, I would have to go with the drops over the stick. So Colored Rain wins for me in this instance, because I'm getting more coverage, I'm getting more product for the price, because like I said, I can buy two for the price of one. So Colored Rain wins for me there. Next, we have some foundation powders as well as some under eye powders. So let's get into those now. I should be putting this stuff back in the box and sitting next to me instead on the floor, but you know, old habits die hard. So next one I have is the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation in the shade 410. If you all remember, I told you this oxidized. I found out about that through Andrea Renee. She had bought the shade. She went in the store and swatched it and found out it oxidized and bought 410, because the foundation shade I actually wear in the Fenty foundation is 420, but I had to buy 410 in the powder because it oxidized to look like 420. Then we have the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I wear the shade Deep 540N. I'll show you both of them and what they look like. Both of them, I'm almost worn off the insignia on both of them. As you can see, the e.l.f. one is a tad bit darker than this one, but the e.l.f. one, from what I remember, does not oxidize, so it's fine to have the shade 540N versus the 410 from Fenty. This one is so much more affordable, and let me see if as far as the weight goes. So there's 0.28 or 8 grams in here, and then the Fenty one there is, does it say? There's 0.32 or 9.1 grams. So you get a little more in the Fenty one, but it's like with the Fenty one, we know with the price point, you can buy two of the e.l.f. one, and they do the same thing. So shout out to Andrea Renee for pointing, Andrea Montanalo for pointing out the difference in between these two. And I definitely say when it comes to price point, obviously I would pick the e.l.f. one over the Fenty one, especially since they both look the same on skin. Just keep in mind that the e.l.f. one only lasts for 6 months, whereas the Fenty one lasts a year. So, but if you're using this as your everyday foundation powder, like you put on the a skin tint and then you put on this powder and you go ahead and hook it up, then it shouldn't be as big a deal to you. I meant to mention the e.l.f. what is it, the Halo Glow versus the Charlotte Tilbury, but I feel like that's one we already know, and I actually like the e.l.f. one better if anyone cares, just because I feel like the e.l.f. one gives a better range when it comes to the colors. And you know, like, since they do the same thing and it gives more coverage on top of the Charlotte Tilbury one, I would definitely pick that one over, just in case anyone cares. But I was trying not to pick obvious, not so obvious ones, and pick ones that I felt like weren't as obvious to other people. So that's why I chose the ones I chose, by the way. Next we have the Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder in the shade Dark 4 from One Size versus the Sephora Collection Matte Powder Foundation in the shade 44N. I think I learned my shade from Andrea Renee because she and I were the same. Myself, and Jackie were the same shades in complexion products. So if you ever need a recommendation and you haven't seen me use it, you might be able to check and see if Andrea Renee used it or Jackie. So here's what both of them look like side by side. As you can see, the colors look pretty similar. And I feel like they both are compatible and do the same thing. This one costs a little bit more than the Sephora one. So if I had to pick one, I would pick the Sephora one just because, again, at the end of the day, you like one more bang for your buck, especially in these streets these time of day. So it's the Sephora one gives 7.5 grams or 0.26 ounces. And you only get a couple more ounces in the One Size one, but again, like you could probably buy 2 of these for the price of this because I think this one was 30 something and this is 20. So even buying over, you'd still get way more product for buying 2 of them because they'll only be 40 bucks. And you know when the Sephora sale comes around, this is going to be 30% off and you only get 20% off of this one. So you get even more bang for your buck if you buy this during the Sephora sale and buy 2. Now this one, I'm trying to see how long it lasts because this is made in Italy. And what is this? And this one is made in Italy. So they're both made in Italy on top of that. I'm trying to see if this one lasts 12 months or not. It doesn't say how long this one lasts, but it does say that the One Size lasts 12. So I actually like the Sephora just as much as I like the One Size. And for the price point, I definitely would pick the Sephora over the One Size if we're going based upon that. I mean, the packaging is nicer on the One Size, but you know, like, I'm not wearing the packaging, I'm wearing the product. Next one I have is one more powder and then we'll get into some like bronzes and some blushes and some highlighters. And then I got a couple of eye products. But yeah, so next I have the, what is this? Say Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder. I have the shade Translucent Medium and then I have the Soft Focus Setting Powder from Sigma in the shade Honey. So with these, this is what the colors look like. They're kind of like that honeyish beigeish tone of shimmer, and they both have a little bit of radiance to them because this is called Soft Focus because it has a little bit of radiance going on, and then this one has an actual little bit of glitter radiance from what I remember. Let me open it up and see about the Sigma one. I have used it recently, but I just want to double check and make sure before I start speaking on it. Okay, I don't really see that much radiance and shimmer in this one, but I can just turning it over on the back, I saw the radiant, like, kind of like glittery shimmer in here. This one is made in Italy. Where's the Sigma one made? The Sigma one is made in China. Let's see as far as the weight, how much we got going on in here. So it's 0.35 ounces or 10 grams in here. And you get only 4 grams in this one. So you get more product in the Sigma one. And from what I remember, the Sigma one is more affordable than this one. Or they're closer to the same price from what I remember. So I personally picked the Sigma one. I know a couple y'all said it looked like it didn't press into my skin well. And it looked like it was sitting on the skin. I didn't personally feel that way when it came to it. And I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily going to like this one. Because it has like those micro fine glitters in it that people aren't necessarily crazy about. Especially if you have oily skin like me. So I personally would pick the Sigma one because you get more bang for your buck with the product. You can use someone's affiliate code like mine. If you all did not know, I have a code with Sigma for, I believe it's, you get 10% off with Sigma, and you put in GELBEAUTY, so you can get this at a discount, and then Sigma always has sales on top of it. So when you can stack a code, this would be a much better bargain than this one, aside from the fact that I just like the way this one looks better on the skin than I do in this one. Not that I don't like this, I'm still going to use it and I still like it. It's just, it's one of those I have to use in the winter time, whereas in the Sigma one, I feel like I can use in the summertime and still have like that soft focus effect without worrying about the glitter. Now neither one of them is mattifying, so I still have to take that into account when using them, but otherwise it's good with me. Next, let's get into bronzers because I have more blushes than I do bronzers. So I'm going to do the bronzers, then I'll do the blushes, and then we'll end with the highlighter. So the next one I have is this L'Oreal Soft Matte Bronzer against the Poolside Pressed Bronzer from Jaclyn Cosmetics. As you all know, Jaclyn Cosmetics might be going out of business. We're not sure. I have the shade Dark in this bronzer. This is $15.99 at CVS. And the Jaclyn one is like 30 something, like I think it's $32 or something like that. So you could get 2 of this for the price of 1 of this. Let's see as far as the grams go. It's 9 grams in this one, and how many is in Jaclyn's? Let me see. Oh, it's 7.39 grams. So you get less product for more money, and the formula on these feels pretty identical in my personal opinion. As you can see, the colors are looking pretty similar as well. I feel like this one looks a little more red than the L'Oreal one. Just keep in mind, if you're a person who doesn't like fragrance in your products, the L'Oreal products always seem to have fragrance. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they're trying to give you a high-end experience, since, you know, they're making you pay $16 for a bronze at the drugstore, but at least they stepped up their game with the formula, because it's really comparable to this one and you're getting charged double the price. However, you might be able to find these at TJ Maxx now, so I don't know if it's going to be as great of a deal for you. It just all depends on if you want to buy the Jaclyn one or if you want to go drugstore route. I feel like going the drugstore route, since the formulas feel the same, would be best, and I prefer the drugstore one over this one because I know it gives me the same effect that the L'Oreal one does. And if you're a couponer like I am and you get the Care Pass from CVS, you already knocked the price down by like 10 bucks, because that Care Pass is $10, and then they usually give you makeup coupons. Like I had a L'Oreal coupon for $3 off for makeup. And then if you get a manufacturer coupon on top of that, we're talking pennies on the dollar for this, as opposed to paying $32 for this. So my personal opinion, I would go with the L'Oreal one for the reasons I just stated, but it's up to you which one you want to get. But I feel like it's a good dupe, so I wanted to point it out. Okay, so the second bronzer I have, these are actually both black owned brands. I just feel like it's better to buy from one than the other one when it comes to the amount of product you're getting, especially when you see what I'm talking about. I've given you all this dupe in the past, but I hadn't talked about it in a while, so I figured I'd bring it up again because it is one of my favorite dupes that I found in my collection. So this is the Fenty bronzers up against the Juvia's Place bronzer. So the Juvia's Place ones, you get two for the price of one, and I got the one in dark. I feel like this is a great dupe because, as you can see, both the colors look the same as the Fenty one, but this one is only, I want to say this is like 18 bucks or something like that. And you know, each one of the Fenty ones is going to be in like the 20s to 30s. So getting two of the colors that you want for the price of one, I had to buy these two separate colors just to get an idea of which one would work best for me. And with this one, it's like I know I can wear this one in the wintertime, and then when the summertime comes, I can wear the one at the bottom. And both shades look pretty much identical. So let me swatch it so you all can see what I'm talking about, because I'm like, I definitely feel like this is really similar. So you can ignore the other swatches on my hand for right now because it's not time for them yet. I will tell you what the eyeshadow is though, because I'm not gonna be showing that palette in here, and I'm figuring somebody will be curious about it. So I swatched the what do you call it, the one from Fenty first, and then I'm swatching the Juvia's Place last. So I'm swatching Coco Naughty first, then I swatched Juvia's Place, then I'm swatching Mocha Mommy, and then I'm swatching Juvia's Place. So this is Coco Naughty, and then Juvia's Place, and this Mocha Mommy and Juvia's Place. As you can see, that all of the tones are pretty similar in tone. I feel like the first one from Juvia's Place is pulling a little more red than I expected to, but I feel like on the skin it pulls more yellow. That's the interesting part. But anyway, that's how they look. This is from the Clarity Cosmetics Apocalypse palette. I was going to rank all my Halloween palettes, so that's why it's swatched on my hand, because I had to press that shadow back in. That shadow always gives me trouble. Like it comes out and breaks, and then I have to always press it back in and put it together. So that's what the eyeshadow swatch is. We'll get to the blush swatch in a minute because that's one of the blushes in this video. Spoiler alert, but you know, that's what we're working right now. So I feel like this is just such a better deal, and especially since Juvia's Place is on sale all the time, either on their website or on Ulta's website. Like y'all know, during the fall hauls and all that, like it's on sale. So it's like, I feel like that's just such a better deal for you if you're into that. Now let's get into all these blushes, girl, because there's a whole lot of blushes. So I'm gonna start off with this one. So I have the, what is this, Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Glow Blush in the shade 60. It's the berry tone one, up against the L'Oreal, what is this, 15 Legacy Berry Soft Matte Blush. Now, because it says it's luminous, don't be alarmed to think that, you know, they don't look similar, because in my personal opinion, they do. I mean, it does have a little bit of a luminous sheen to it, obviously, because it is called luminous, but I'm going to swatch them so you can see the difference in what I'm talking about. It does give a little more glowy effect, if you will, but the problem is it's too lightly pigmented for my liking. So if you like a more of a pigmented blush, I feel like you will like the L'Oreal one better. The only difference is the L'Oreal doesn't necessarily have like the glow to it that this does, but I feel like they have a similar tone to them. So as you can see, it has a similar tone to it. This is the Glow Blush from Giorgio Armani, and then this is the L'Oreal blush. But again, just like I said, keep in mind that the L'Oreal one is going to have a perfume scent to it. The Giorgio Armani does not, but the L'Oreal does. They're trying to give you that luxury experience, even though it's from the drugstore, since they're charging $15.99 for this, just like they charge $15.99 for the bronzer I just showed you. But let's see how much is in each one of these. So you get 3.6 grams in here, whereas you get 9 grams in L'Oreal. So I feel like L'Oreal is the better decision if you don't mind it not necessarily being glowy, because it doesn't have that like glowy sheen effect to it, but it still has a nice soft matte finish to it. And I think both of them look nice, considering it's from the drugstore, because y'all know the drugstore has come a long way, but it's like they're gonna keep charging the high prices of $15.99. They need to have come a long way. So I'm liking the fact that they stepped up their game, because they realized, you know, like they needed to. But you know, stepping up the game comes stepping up the prices. So now I'm going to show you the blush that you've seen on my hand all this time. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics Charmed blush versus the Haus Labs Color Fused blush in the shade Lavender Blonde. So the first one I swatched was the shade Charmed from Unearthly, and the second one was Lavender Blonde. As you can see, Lavender Blonde, Charmed is a little bit lighter than Lavender Blonde. So if you have a lighter skin tone, I feel like you will like Charmed a lot better than Lavender Blonde, because you might feel like it's too deep. So if you're fair or light, I feel like you'll like this one better. I personally like to just mix them together, but I wanted to give another option, because I know Haus Labs is kind of expensive, because $30-some for one blush is expensive compared to this one being, I think, like under $15. Don't quote me, I forgot, it was a while ago when I bought this, so I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I know it's more affordable than this. I definitely know it's under $30. I think it's under $20. So if you're of a lighter skin tone, I figured you might like this better than this one. So for you, I would recommend this over this, because you know it's not going to give you that chalky kind of ashish look that I feel like it gives me, which is why I mix it in with this one. But it is a good alternative. Another good alternative would be the Give Beauty one, because there's a shimmery lighter tone one that's more of the color of this, and then there's a deeper one to put on top, put underneath as the base. So that's a good alternative for the Haus Labs one as well, and that one is a little bit more affordable, and you get 2 blushes for the price of one. I just forgot to pack that one because I reorganized my makeup over the weekend, and you know, yeah. Next, I have a couple of Juvia's Place blushes to use as dupes to the Haus Labs one. So I got this one in volume 4 of the blushes to dupe the Color Fuse blush in Dragon Fruit Days. So what I always like about the Juvia's Place sets is you get 2 for the price of 1. So if you're of a fairer or lighter skin tone, you can use this one, and if you're medium to tan, you can use this one and maybe top this, or just combine both of them and have a nice set. But as you can see, those look really similar. I feel like the one from Juvia's Place is a little more blue tone though, but I'll swatch them both out just so you can see. So I'm gonna swatch Haus Labs first, and then I'll go ahead and swatch Juvia's last, just to give you an idea and see if my theory is correct. 'Cause from what I remember, it does pull a little bit more blue undertone than the Haus Labs. We'll about to find out, because it's been a minute since I used this. I usually leave it here, and y'all know I have a thing about my Patrick Ta that I love so much. So yeah, see, I feel like this one pulls a little more blue tone. It's a little deeper, but again, it's supposed to be for deeper skin tones, and they have the lighter one at the bottom for lighter skin tones. So I feel like this is just a tad deeper, but I feel like it's still a good alternative, because I feel like when you put it on the face and press it into the skin and spray it out, you might notice that much different when it comes to the shade, but it's not enough to where it should be, you know, that huge issue. So if you want a better deal, you get 2 blushes for the price of 1 instead of paying $38 for this one. So I think it's definitely a better deal. Same thing when it comes to this set. So this is the Watermelon Bliss from Haus Labs, and then this is number 5 from Juvia's Place. And I feel like, again, this is definitely a deal, because there's a brighter red in here, just like this one. And it's definitely a deal, because then you get this deeper tone one here, because this reminds me more of that cherry shade from Dior that I have in my collection, that I feel like it could be a good dupe for that as well. I'll try to do swatches of that another time, because I did not bring that shade with me, because I was thinking more about the top, not necessarily the bottom. But it's a good dupe for 2 different blushes in my collection, so I'm definitely here for that. I'm going to swatch the Haus Labs again first, and then we'll get into the Dior one. But y'all, I just feel like I'll be finding all these great dupes, so I wanted to get a video together of the collection of all of my personal favorite dupes that I like to use over other things, to kind of help for the new people who have arrived on my channel. So this is the House Labs, and then this is the Juvia's Place. Again, the Juvia's Place is a little bit deeper, but you have to remember Juvia's Place is made for people with deeper skin tone, so their stuff is gonna be a little bit deeper. And then I'll swatch the red one just for you to see, like the lighter red one at the bottom, because why not? You're here, I'm here, y'all know the deal, we're all here. And it's definitely giving me the vibes of that cherry shade from Dior that I love so much. So I will try to make sure I insert swatches in the video somewhere so you can see this shade up against that one, because I'm telling y'all, it looks so similar. It's insane. So I found two dupes for two like great blushes at an affordable price, because this is $18. This alone is $38, and then you gotta imagine Dior one's like 40 bucks. Just keep in mind, it's not good. This isn't obviously gonna have that glowy finish that the Dior one does, but it's still a great deal if you just want that color and you don't necessarily care about the glow. Because if you're putting highlighter on top, it's not, is it really necessary if you necessarily have that glow? No. And if you have oily skin, it'll make it look like a glow later on in the day for you. So that's just something to keep in mind for all my oily skin girls like myself. But I'm gonna try to remember to insert the clip right here of it and compare it to that one, hopeless. So this is the Dior blush versus the Juvia's Place blush. So the first one is the Dior and the second one is the Juvia's Place. So they're not exactly like I thought. I feel like this one gives a more strawberry milk kind of color to it, but I still feel like it's a good alternative if you want to pay the high price. Just don't expect the Juvia's Place to be glowy. Okay, y'all, so next one I have is this one. This is probably one of my favorite ones of this year. So this is the Patrick Ta She's Wanted palette, or like blush set. And I found two blushes in my collection that are really similar. One I just ended up hard panning by accident while I was swatching it, so I'm gonna have to scratch that off and fix it. But this is the shade Dancing Darlings from the It's a Small World After All collection from ColourPop, so the holiday collection last year. And this is the shade Big O in the Cheek Freak Blush Bombs from About Face. So both of these equal the same color as Oh She's Wanted from Patrick Ta. I gave y'all a reel on it on IG, and I put it in a overrated versus underrated, but you have not seen that yet, so you'll probably see this before you see that. I make no promises, I don't know, but this is what they look like side by side. And I'm gonna show you the swatches that I put on the side of my arm so you can see how similar they are. Because like y'all, when I first thought about it, I was like, I don't really have any colors like this, and I was like, wait, yes you do. And then once I went through my collection, I was like, oh, they look so similar. So now I have that set of colors when I'm over here and want to do that. I can still leave my Patrick Ta at home. So the first shade, this is the blush from Patrick Ta, and She's Wanted. And then this is the Big O Cheek Freak from About Face. This is the Patrick Ta powder, and this is the Daring Darlings, or Dancing Darlings from ColourPop. So as you can see, like both of them look really similar and identical. It's just like, I'm just like, oh wow, I can't with how similar they are. I already gave y'all swatching comparison on GELBEAUTY Instagram. I gotta wipe this off though, because I got another one. It was a recent one I gave you, so it's not like it's that big a deal if I put it in here or not, but I just wanted to, because I don't know that this video is going to go up right away. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, every dupe that I truly love and was excited about that I found throughout the years was in here. So that's what this is. So the next ones I have are a recent video I did. And I know they're both high-end, but it's still a better deal for this high-end thing over this high-end thing. So let me explain. So I found these Tom Ford Soleil Neige Glow highlighters. Shout out to the Beauty Steal on Instagram. She posted that these were on sale for $60, and these are 90 bucks a piece. So I got them both on sale for $60 a piece. So it was 120 instead of almost $200. And y'all know this is the original Dior Glow Face palette that came out, the first one in Universal. So this shade right here and this shade right here are really similar to these two Tom Ford highlighter shades. So I'll show you one. The rose one is number one. I love a rose gold highlighter, y'all know that. So I was excited as soon as I saw this one. I just got the other one because both of them were on sale, and I do like the formula of Tom Ford highlighters. So when I can get one on a deal, I definitely take it. This is number 2, called Grand Paradis. I hope I said that right. Or is it Paradis? But yeah, I'm going to swatch them side by side so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to swatch number 1 first, which is the rose gold, against the blush shade in the Dior palette. And then I'm going to swatch shade number 2 against that gold shade that I showed you on the palette. And they look really similar. You get a little bit more pigmentation out of the one for Dior in pink, because it's supposed to be a like blush topper, like shimmery situation. So just be prepared for it to be more pigmented than the rose gold shade from what do you call it, Tom Ford. Also expected to be a little bit more glittery because their formula is a little more glittery than the Tom Ford formula. So just keep those two things in mind when I show you these swatches. Tom Ford's is more on the metallic shiny effect, whereas although they're still shiny from the Dior quad, it's just more of, they're giving more of a little bit glittery. But you know, it's okay, because I like both. And if you want a better deal, I feel like you do the Dior one. If you buff it out a little bit, the glitter won't be like prominent, because it's not really prominent sparkly glitter. It's just more of, you know, kind of a glittery effect, like that soft glittery effect, and then when you buff it out, it just disappears type glitter. So as you can see, this is the Tom Ford and this is the Dior. The only difference you see in the Dior is like a slight difference as far as sparkle. As far as I'm concerned, you can comment and tell me if you see differently. And then this is the second one from Tom Ford, the more goldy one, and then this is the gold from Dior. So as you can see, they look very similar. So if you wanted a Dior dupe, I'm sorry, a Tom Ford dupe at a more affordable price, especially with the sale coming up, I definitely recommend these over the Tom Ford, because why pay $180 for 2 highlighters when you can get the same 2 colors for 50 bucks? Like, and then during the sale, that'll make it, what, like 40 bucks? So that means you'll pay $10 per highlighter for Dior. I think that's a much better deal than Tom Ford. I still like the Tom Ford. I'm so glad I have the Tom Ford, but realistically, if I had to pick, girl, I'm going for the more affordable one, which we clearly see is the Dior. So I'll try to have my video up for y'all next week when it comes to my recommendations for the Sephora sale. If y'all want a wish list, we can talk about that in that video. But let's move into a little bit of eyeshadow before I get into the rest of the eyeshadow, because these were sitting behind me. So we have these two right here. So this is the Vanessa x Juvia's Place collab. I love to support a black creator, and this is the mini Biba palette from Natasha Denona. Like, y'all know I didn't buy the original Biba because it was more warm tone, neutral, and then like cool tone, but it's still majority of neutral. Whereas with the Vanessa one, I like the fact she did a pop of pink. I like the fact she still has some neutrals to it, and I feel like this is a good alternative to Juvia's Place. I mean, for the Natasha Denona one, especially for the price point and the color story, because I feel like the color story is really similar. This is just more brown girl friendly, warm tone, if you will, but it's still giving a lot of similar tones, like more peachy-ish tone. I feel like it's replaced with this like deeper orange, if you will. This more neutral tone matches this neutral tone right here. Then you have both the darker browns, if you will. This is that cream to powder formula of the deeper brown. But I like the fact that she added this pink in this more mauve section, so you can get a mauve tone look out of it if you want, or you can just do the traditional like warm tone orangey nude situation. So I think that's what I like about Vanessa's. Plus I love supporting the black creators, so I definitely think I would pick the Vanessa one. The only thing is the Vanessa one is limited edition, so that's the sad part about it. It's like you may not be able to find this. It goes in and out of stock on Juvia's Place's website, so you can just add, you can click the join the waiting list and then sign up for when it returns. That's what I did, and I was blessed enough to be able to get it when it came back, because when it first came out, it sold out so quick I didn't even get a chance to grab it or give y'all a video on anything. But it's definitely a good alternative to the Biba palette if you were, sorry, the mini Biba palette if you're interested. The next one I have is another one from Juvia's Place. This is the bronze rustic palette from Juvia's Place. They still have this in stock, but again, you have to join the waiting list to get it, because it came out with a lighter pink one as well. And this is the mini bronze from Natasha. Again, you all know I didn't buy the bronze palette. I'm not into those neutrally tones, and I don't care how much I do like to purchase Natasha Denona and, like, you know, make videos for y'all. Some stuff I'm still not willing to do, and buying the bronze, glam, and Biba palette just was not it for me. So this is what they look like. As you can see, this gives you more fun, bright versions of these colors, which is why I like it more. Like, I like this bright red, I like this bright orange. This one worked fine, and I actually make a really nice look out of it when I have to go to rush somewhere. But if I had to pick, I would just pick the Juvia's Place, because it gives more fun and bright tones for someone who, like me, who doesn't really like neutrals. But, you know, like, you can get me with a couple of pops of colors in a neutral palette, and to me, that's what this is. So, not to mention, again, affordability. Y'all know the times is hard out here in these streets. So, if I can get a palette, because sometimes these palettes go on sale for like $6, so that's $1 per shade, versus paying her $27 for 5 shades, I'll definitely go for that. Because it's not like Juvia's Place has a bad formula, and for what you're getting amount wise and color wise, which is very similar, I feel like it's fine. So I personally go for the Juvia's Place over the Natasha one. But again, we know these aren't necessarily my colors, so that's probably why I'm going for it over that, and you know that's okay too. So there you go. But this is the last set of palettes I have. I think it's a box over there that I'm gonna have to turn off the camera and get to, because I'm tired of trying to reach over on y'all like that. So, you know, yeah. The last palettes I have to talk about is the Utopian Dream versus the Dominique Cosmetics Coral Blossom palette. So when both these came out a similar time, I was really excited because I was like, ooh, yes. It's a similar alternative for people who don't want to spend the Pat McGrath prices for the sparkly special shades at the front. Because tell me these two color stories aren't similar. I mean, come on. And people said they had found this at Ross for like $7.99 and $10 or whatever. Because I think this was like a late launch for her. That it was supposed to come out in the spring, but something held it up and it came out like in the fall or something like that. So this is what both of them look like. As you can see, it has those purples, it has those corally vibes, it has those neutrals. So I definitely feel like if you don't care about Mother's special shades, that this would be a good alternative for you when it comes to this color story. Now y'all know I love Mother's better than I love this one, and it's not that I don't like Kirsten's brand, because I really do. It's just more of the special shades in here or what makes this palette unique from this one, and I'm happy to have this one. But I'm also happy to have this one because I love Kirsten Dominique as a person, and I love the color story she's coming up with her brand. So I picked Pat McGrath personally, but if, like I said, if you don't care about the purple being as sparkling and special and you just like the color story as a whole, I definitely say check and see if you can find this at a Ross or a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or a Burlington, because people said they found it at Ross. I don't go to Ross, so I wouldn't know. I found this on I think I found mine on Mercari, or did I buy it from her website? I don't know. No, I bought mine from her website, but people are saying that you can find it there. You might be able to find it on Mercari. I know I've seen it on there. So if you want this color story and you don't want to pay Pat McGrath prices, this is definitely a great alternative for you, which is why I wanted to put it in this video, because I know some people feel like Pat McGrath is worth it. I personally feel like it's worth it, but you know, like if you don't feel like it's worth it and you really liked that color story and just didn't want to come up with those coins, I felt like this was a good one for you. Let me go grab the other box of palettes, girl, and I will be right back. Okay, girl? Okay, y'all. So first eye product I have to talk about is these. This is one of my favorite dupes. I just found this recently. So these are the Patrick Ta Make It Major Multi-Dimensional Eye Toppers. This is the shade It's Giving Rich, and then there's one called It's Giving Luxury. I actually have It's Giving Luxury on my eyes right now, just in case you want to see what the sparkle and shine looks like. I have oily eyelids though, so that's why it's probably not giving as much sparkle and glimmer as it would have given early in the day when I put this on. Up against the Artist Couture Diamond Lights Finishers. So this is the shade Diamond Bronze. I feel like this is a good alternative for this product, and since y'all know I'm showing you my favorite dupes in my collection, I figured I'd go ahead and show you this. So just keep in mind, if you want a more pigmented base to go with the topper, then you would like the Artist Couture much better, which is why I prefer the Artist Couture, which is what this video is about, obviously about the dupes. So I prefer this one over Patrick Ta one, because as you can see, it's quite piecey on the lid since I didn't put it over anything. It's just on my eyelid and that's it. So with this one, I have to add it to something, but it's like if I want to wear it on its own, it's just going to look really piecey, and after a while, it's not going to look as well because I have oily eyelids. So that's why I prefer the dupe in this situation. Next one I have is the Charlotte Tilbury Hypnotizing Pop Shot. Y'all know I got the one in Cosmic Drops because it's the blue to purple shifting one, and I have this LA Girl, what is it, Shade Shifter Dual Chrome Eyeshadow in the shade Topaz, which is literally pretty much the same color. This one has a little bit more of a blue base to it than this one, but they don't shift blue to purple. I feel like I see a little bit of pink in this one as well, but when you swatch them side by side, there's just like the slightest difference when it comes to the color because of the deeper black base in this one than in this one. And of course, we know LA Girl is very affordable. This one is, I think, it's under $10. I want to say it's $5.99, $6.99, something like that, whereas this one is like $36 or $38. So just go ahead and get the dupe. I plan on using the dupe a whole lot more and prefer the dupe, to be honest, even though this one is a little bit lighter. I usually like my dupe ones a little bit lighter just because of the price point, and I know it'll be more accessible to you all my followers. I like it a whole lot better for that reason alone. And this is one of my favorite dupes. So y'all know I pointed this out a while ago, that the Glamonatrix Cosmetics Into the Night palette is really similar to my Mothership 3 palette. And y'all know I love Mother, but it's like Mother don't ever want to give you no fun, colorful tones. And I feel like that's what my problem is with Mother's version of this palette, because you won't see right now why. Like, look at them. Now, they have a lot of similarities, but it's like she gave you fun pops of matte colors to go with these tones, whereas Mother doesn't do that. So for once, I actually have to prefer the dupe, and I definitely have used the Glamonatrix one way more than I've used the Pat McGrath one, just because I know I get fun bright pops of color. And since Mother rarely, if ever, wants to do that, she did that with one holiday palette one time. She'll do it with the shimmers, But it's like she won't give you colorful mattes too. I don't know if it's because it's harder to make colorful mattes in her formula, or she's trying to stick to like what she does when it comes to like the models and all that. For the runway show she does, mother, I want some color. So I'm gonna have to go Glamnatrix on this one, honey, just because they gave me some color. Now this one was really hard for me to choose because y'all know I really love this brand, but at the end of the day, it's like this other brand has lots of sales, it's more affordable, and it's a black owned brand. So I got the Paint Me Chrome palette from Plain and Makeup by Yolanda versus the Plain Jane Remastered palette. If you all remember, I did a whole video comparing both of these, and a lot of the shades were actually pretty similar. So I definitely have to say I would go with the Plain and Makeup by Yolanda. Plus she always has sales, like I was saying. So like I think I got this palette for like 40 or 50% off when it came out, along with her newer all matte palette. And since she does lots of palettes with mattes and shimmers in them too, that's another plus for me. Or she does all matte palettes and then all shimmer palettes. I am definitely loving it. Plus, if you see, I think you get like 2 extra shades in here that you don't get in here, and they're still both around the same price. So you get more product when it comes to the extra shades in this one as well. So it doesn't say how much product is in this one. I forgot they put it on the sticker on the bag, and I took the sticker off. But it was definitely one of my favorite dupes to find this year. Next one I got a couple of Huda dupes. So I have the Pulse palette from Menagerie Cosmetics alongside the Python Wild Obsessions palette from Huda. So if you all remember, these palettes literally looked like exactly the same. Like they had the same just about color layout and everything. They even went down to like the same brown like shade in the palette to go with the rest of the colors, which I thought was really interesting, because it's like I was expecting to have more color because it was indie as opposed to this brown shade. But you know, it made me a great dupe for this video, and I actually reached for this one more than I do for the Huda one, just because I feel like she always gives the same type of tone. And the fact that this light fun blue is here and this light green is here is fun. And some of those like darker tones are still deep enough for me to try to like use on the outer V, and they deepen up pretty nicely, whereas I don't have to use brown. Like with Huda's, you have to use the brown. So that's mainly the reason why I like the Pulse one from Menagerie better, because it's like she did what she always does. She gave you some fun colors, but like your darkest outer V shade always has to be a neutral. When is she gonna learn? I don't just want a neutral for the outer V. This shouldn't be in here. Yeah. Next one I have is this Frosted Flakes palette from Glamlight versus the Tropical Skewer from DD Signatures. The brand just came back to business. They had taken a break for a while, so since she came back, I was super excited, and I ended up using my set to do a palette rewind. Y'all know when brands relaunch palettes and stuff like that, I'll give y'all a relaunch of the product, so just in case you were thinking about getting it, you can see a look with it, as well as watch my older look and see which one you prefer, and you get a couple of looks out of it, and I get to use the palette again. But these look pretty similar in my personal opinion, and it's like I feel like I would probably reach for this one more, because y'all know I don't really like orange like that, and I feel like this is more blue heavy than orange heavy, or it has at least a decent balance of both shades. So I feel like I would probably reach for this more, because if you all remember, I'm not usually crazy about the blues that Glamlight produces either. So I feel like the DD Signature one would be great for me, and it'd be a good alternative for you all. So I figured I would go ahead and show it off and let you see. So there's that one. Next one, I was shocked to find a dupe to Tina the Fancy Faces palette. I think I showed this one to you all in the past. So this is the Indigo Ink palette. Now I don't know if I should be including this one, because I still like Tina's palette more, but I still want to show that it is one of my favorite dupes, just in case you were watching this video and needed a dupe for Tina's palette, because I don't want you to go out there spending, you know, a million coins to get her palette when I have found you an alternative. Now it's not exact. This one I would actually say is alternative. Sorry, let me turn it the other way so you just see the colors, but see, it does give a definite alternative. Like some of the shades that she has as shimmers, they have as mattes. There's no shade in here like the Fancy shade, which is like one of my favorite shades in the palette, which is again another reason I wouldn't. But since it's Tina, I knew I was going to get those dark outer V shades, and I knew I was going to get lots of color as opposed to like neutral. So I feel like these two look similar enough in tone, but I do still like Tina's palette better. I just wanted to show this as an alternative for you all, because since you all won't be able to get it, I wanted to have this to show. I don't think this one was limited edition. Do not quote me, it might be. So if it is, my apologies. But I don't remember them saying on their website it was limited edition. I think they said it was permanent, and that's why they got rid of the like baby violet ink palette. Wait, no, they got rid of violet ink for the fruit bat palette. Anyway, the next favorite dupe in my collection is this Ace Beauty Ambiance palette, because y'all know they won't bring good sport back. They done brought back all these other collections people asked about. They will not bring back this palette, but the Ace Beauty one is a great alternative to it. So it is really similar to Ambiance in my personal opinion. It doesn't have the burgundy shade right here. That's actually a plum type shade as opposed to burgundy, even though it looks burgundy on camera. But I feel like it has a lot of the other similar tones in it. So that's why I feel like it's a great alternative. And I have definitely been reaching for this one, especially because this one is getting to the point where it's like, oh, and the formula isn't the same. It's not performing the way it used to. I was so happy that I found this alternative. If they had put the red in there, that would have just made it chef's kiss for me. But I can live without the red because it has so many other colors in it that are just as nice. So. And it's black on brand. Y'all know I live for me a black on brand moment. I live for a black on brand moment. So I was so happy that I found that. But when I first looked at that palette, funny enough, I didn't buy it right away because I was like, yeah, no. But then they ended up having a sale and I ended up getting it. And then when I put it next to my Good Sport, I was like, oh. I was so excited. Like, y'all don't even understand. Or maybe you do if you remember watching the old school versus new school on both of those and me talking about how excited I was. But the next one I have to talk about is actually a fairly new one. It's from Diypansy. It's the Trick or Treat palette from Angelica alongside the Jungle Roar palette. I like this one for you all because it's like a lot of people might not want to buy Diypansy. I know a lot of people complaining about them doing the Trick or Treat collection with Angie just because, you know, she always, I mean the Halloween collection with Angie because she's always talking about she doesn't know much about it. So I feel like this could be a good alternative for you. Now you can't find this on Ulta's website anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can go to their website and still get it. I think when I had looked it up to search for the picture of it, when it had already left Ulta, that I still saw it on their website. So you can still go to their website and pick this up. I feel like this is a good dupe for this palette as well as like Metropolis. It doesn't have the blues that Metropolis has, but if you're a person like Morgan Turner who doesn't really care about the blues, then this might be a good one for you. If you're a warm tone person, I definitely feel like this is a palette you'd like in your collection. It has a good formula for drugstore. I wasn't as crazy about it as I thought I was going to be since Andrea Montanalo raved about how great their formula was. I just thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything exceptional. I like the LA Girl formula when it comes to drugstore better. If I had to literally pick a drugstore brand I can walk into a drugstore and buy. But this could be a good alternative for you if you don't want to buy Angie's palette. It also gives me the vibes of the Christmas, what is it, the Merry Christmas palette that you missed out on if you wanted to try that out. So you might want to look into it and check it out. I think it's like $15.99. If I remember correctly, but it does give you a lot of shades. Like you get 21 shades in this palette, and I thought that was pretty good for 15 bucks. Or 16 bucks, I should say. So that's what I found from this year that I like. I do have one alternative to one of the Diypansy Christmas palette is the Christmas Eve palette. If you all remember when this first came out, again, I was on it trying to find y'all dupes for the people who didn't get it when they did that one restock. I'm hoping they're going to bring it back again this year, and that's why they didn't bring it back a whole lot last year, but we'll see. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Whistler Snow Lodge. I think this is a really nice color story and a really great alternative to this palette. The only thing is you won't get the purple in there that you get in here. But hold on, let me hold it in the right way. But if you cover up that red set, you see how they look pretty much exactly the same without the purple, just like I told you. So that's why this is one of my favorite dupes, because it lets you get a color story that you wanted, that you weren't able to get from the brand that you want, and you still get a good formula. Because Nomad has a good formula, and this is one of the good shimmer formulas. It's not like that one that's pressed too hard because they have like the, what do you call them, the insignias, or they have like the little symbols on it and it got pressed too hard in the pan. So that's why I feel like this one is a very good alternative for the Christmas Eve, because since it doesn't have that issue, the shimmers work the way their shimmers normally work, which is really nice. The mattes in there are really nice, and it gives you pretty much just about a lot of the same colors that you would get in the Merry Christmas palette. And it's more affordable, because if I remember correctly, the Merry Christmas was like 43 something a piece, and that one is only, I want to say it's $34. And then you can use, everybody say it now, let's say it all together, you can use code Dion at checkout, and then you can get a percentage off of that. So you'd get a cheaper price and you get similar colors. You're just not going to get that one purple shade. And it's like, if you don't really care about purple too much, it's not that big a deal. The next one I have to talk about is from LA Girl. So I got another affordable one for you all. So this is the LA Girl Hey Hey Vacay palette in the shade Good Times and Tan Lines. It is a really good alternative to the Zendo palette, and I know a lot of people didn't like Zendo because the shimmers were not giving what they hoped it would. Because I felt the mattes were fine, but I was like everybody else, like you wanted the metallic sparkly shimmers, and they were not giving that. But see, this one has fun, colorful tones tones of those blues that are in here, and then it has those same warm tone shades, and the metallics in here are actually like that shimmer metallic foil look that you expect Natasha to have in her palette that she doesn't. So that's why I think it's a good alternative. You can still get this palette on LA Girl's website. They just don't have it on CVS's, Ulta's website anymore. So if you wanted to grab this palette, you can go over there. And again, I think this is like $15.99 like the JCat one was. I like the formula of LA Girls better than JCat, so I would actually recommend this one more. They actually have this really nice blue, green, and purple palette as well. But I don't have a blue, green, and purple palette I feel like it was similar to, or else I'd have pulled it out and compared them. Because, honey, formula is amazing. Next one I have to shout out in this dupe situation is this All I Ever Wanted Volume 2 palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. If you all remember, I said it was really similar to the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4 palette here. And it doesn't have those shades in the middle that everybody says they don't like. Because that's my only issue with this palette. Her metallics are wonderful. It's just this part right here. So I'm glad that she changed it this year. And she took the feedback and took those parts out of the middle. Because I think the first two palettes, I'm assuming the second one was already in production when the first one came out, and that's why she couldn't adjust it. So she adjusted it in the third one, which I appreciate because a lot of us don't even like that. So as you can see, the color stories of these are quite similar. I did a whole battle of the old school versus new school, showing you all eyelets with them, and both the shimmers on the lid I put on looked the same. The ones in the All I Ever Wanted palette, also All I Ever Wanted Volume 2 palette, are just a little bit deeper in tone because they are more black based than the ones that Danessa made. But otherwise, you can get the same color effect out of them, and that's what I really liked, because y'all know I do really like Unearthly Cosmetics, even though I haven't bought anything I think in a while from them. But when they released the palette individually, the one that was in a large summer summer mystery bundle, then I will go ahead and buy something from them, and then we'll see what their holiday collection looks like. I really like the way the Halloween collection looked. It's just, y'all know I don't like lippies, and that's what held me back. It's like I wasn't going to use the highlighter palette, and I don't like lip oils, and then there was like 5 lipsticks. It was a lot of lip products going on in there, which kind of deterred me from getting it, but to each his own. The next palette has Unearthly Cosmetics versus Cosmic Brushes. So this is the Delicious Delights palette, and this is one of my all-time favorite palettes from the brand. This is the Vitality palette. This is the one I was telling you all they don't make anymore, and that's why I have to buy the one I just talked about from the mystery box once it comes out, to give you all a comparison to see if they feel the same, if they are the same. But to me, this is a good alternative to it because it has a lot of those same similar tones if you look at it closely. I feel like it has more greens than anything else, but I feel like they just place theirs differently. The only thing I will say is when it comes to Vitality palettes, you get a lot of more outer V tones. So that's the only downside of the Cosmic Brushes. In my personal opinion, you don't get those outer V shades to darken up the outer V the way you do with this one. But I still feel like it's a good alternative, and that's why I put it in here as a dupe, because I'm like, it's not that I so much like it more, it's because I know it's a good alternative that you all can get. And if you don't care about having a deeper outer V, or if you're lighter, you might not necessarily need to have more than this purple as an outer V shade, because like this shade might be deep enough for you if you're fair or light, or these two might be deep enough for you if you're fair or light. So I tried to keep that in mind with picking as well. So that's why to me this is a good alternative, and it's a really nice dupe. And I found that when I first tried this one, I had to work with the formula of the shimmers on. I felt like they were a little hard pressed in there, and they worked out a little better after I used it a little bit, whereas this one they automatically felt smooth and nice. So that's another reason that I picked this to go with this. Oh look, don't let it fall. It's like Jane over with these palettes, y'all, because of the different sizes of each one. I'm over here like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Okay, so the last one I have to talk about to end off this video is these two. So y'all know I did a video of black girl friendly versions of Cult Classic products, and this Ice Cream Dream from Glam Light was in here versus the Vigorously palette from Plain & Makeup by Yolanda. So I feel like Yolanda's is the black girl friendly version of pastels for people my skin tone, because this one they oxidized and turned into the colors that hers were. So she just made them these colors that made more nice pastel versions for people my skin tone. So I appreciate that, because with this one I was disappointed because I wanted them to look like the colors they were in the pan, and then when they oxidized I was like, oh, so at least with this one I know what to look forward to, and I know that the colors are just going to be this color. They don't deepen up the way they do in this palette, so that's why I prefer this one a little bit better. When I did the video though, I think I said I liked this one though, because at the time it was springy like, and I was feeling more pastel-y ones. But I like both. I do or the Plain Makeup by Yolanda though, because again, you all can get her brand on a deal a lot of the time. Plus I love supporting me a black owned brand, and I liked this one from the first time I used it, whereas with this one I had to adjust to liking it. So that's why I put this one over that one. But those are all the palettes and all the makeup dupes in my collection I have tried that I liked best. You can comment down below and tell me what your favorite dupe was in this video. Y'all saw highlighters, y'all saw blush, y'all saw foundation, y'all saw foundation powders, you saw setting powders, you saw bronzers, like you saw a whole bunch of stuff, girl. So tell me which one you liked best down below. You can name one from each category. You can just name like eyeshadow palettes if you want, girl, just name whatever you want. But I'm just curious and want to know, what did you like best out of this video? Because these are some of my favorite dupes that I've pulled for you all over the years. Because I've been pulling dupes since like the pandemic started like really hard. So probably like 2020 until now I've been kind of like doing this whole dupe thing. So I thought it'd just be fun for us to go over and see all the ones that I like the best and that I use the most throughout my time on here, or I was just proud of that I found before anyone else did. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, girl. Be blessed. Bye.